Hey guys, Hadrigon here, back here with yet another Hunter x Hunter video. In today's video, I want to talk about Meruem's Royal Guards. In the end, I've covered all three of these characters individually, from Mentutoyupi, Shao-Puf, and Neferpitou. But as a whole, as a group and a collective, as a theme and as a symbolistic identity, they work so well in tandem. In fact, I think the Royal Guards are so great that they steal the spotlight from the palace invasion. When I think of the palace invasion, I think of Mentutoyupi's transformation. I think of Shao-Puf's breakdown, and I think of Neferpitou's change in character. So when I really think about it, these characters shaped our view of the Chimera Ants and of this arc as a whole. In the end, all three of them have different arcs they go in, and they all go in different directions. We see Shao-Puf has got the most simplistic arc, as he has a flat arc. He doesn't change and he doesn't evolve. But that's what makes it so interesting, is we see how he is in this losing battle, and we see the desperation, the lengths he goes to keep this idea of Chimera Ants alive. He is the only true Chimera Ant that lives through that purpose of serving the perfect king. On the other hand, we have Mentutoyupi, who he was a blank canvas, and he was very much metamorphosing in his abilities to transform into these new forms, but also mentally. He developed maturity and he developed a sense of wisdom. And we see the comparison between Shao-Puf, right? He's born as this butterfly. Symbolically, the butterfly is the latest form, right? He's already at his peak. And we see that Mentutoyupi is born as a brunt, right? He's almost like an ant. He is very much in servitude until he evolves and becomes a centurion, a knight, so to say. So here we see him go into that place where he becomes human, even when he doesn't have any humanity in him. I find that extremely interesting because out of all the royal guards, he's the only guard that wasn't created through humans. He was created through animals and through magical beasts, and yet he has some of the most endearing human qualities. Then, on the other hand, you've got Neferpitou, right? As the saying goes, curiosity killed the cat. She's someone that's very in tune with her instincts, and her instincts made it that she changed as she sensed the change in Meruem. So as Meruem went on this arc of becoming more human, as did she. And that left her, Shao-Puf, and Mentutoyupi in a conflict. We see the scene where Shao-Puf is confronting Yupi, and he's just saying, what changed? He doesn't understand it. He's trying to get the information out of Knuckle. He has a similar reaction with Neferpitou. And it's these character interactions that are so fascinating, right? Because in the end, unlike the king, and unlike all the other characters, they are actually there for a purpose, right? The king has this freedom of will, this freedom of expression. He is the king, right? He's there to rule the world, and he can do it however he chooses. Of course, there's the playbook that Shao-Puf's been programmed to follow, but Meruem doesn't have to follow that playbook. We also see that the humans are there by choice. They're there because of their empathy, their humanity. They want to save the world, as cliche as that is. And they all got personal reasons for wanting to do that, which makes it the most interest out of that meaning. And for the royal guards, they don't have that freedom of will, that freedom of expression. They were born for one purpose, to serve the king. And unlike the other Chimera Ants, where they're serving a queen that inevitably the queen's going to die and it's going to change over to the king, they are purely focused on the king. So the king's change affects each one of them. It's the drive of Puf's insanity. It's the beginning of Neferpitou's motherhood, and it's the confusion of Mentutoyupi's growth. In the end, there's a scene where Meruem was talking to Komugi, and he was talking about the royal guards, and he was saying, I wasn't worthy of their loyalty. And he says that he'll thank them when he dies, show his gratitude. I think that's quite a touching moment, first of all. Very good writing, because we see the growth of Merim's relationship with them, where at first Merim just saw them as these slaves, and later on he grew to respect them to the point that even when they worked against him, in the case of Yuppie and of course Shao-Puf, he didn't resent them for it, neither did he really punish them. In the end, the king grew wise as Yuppie did. He got his flat arc where he became more and more this perfect being like Shao-Puf, and he grew that motherhood, that sense of being someone that's a protector from Neferpitou. So in a way, all three of the character arcs from the Royal Guards end up being seen as a final product within the king. And post-Rose, when we see the king, he is very much a being that's enlightened, right? He's someone that's found inner peace. He has learned about his death, and he is not worried. And that all comes from the Royal Guard, because the Royal Guards was the king's social circle. The Royal Guards was his main influence before Komugi entered the equation. The thing I find so interesting in the Royal Guards is not just their changes, right, but the way we see them and how that's changed. Because when we first saw Neferpitou, she was the most scary character in Hunter x Hunter. She was terrifying, right? As soon as Kite sensed her, I thought, no way, this is a monster. We saw that pure fear in his eyes. And then afterwards, Shao-Puf, we felt uneasy learning that he could read minds. Mentor Yuppie seemed like this average knuckle brawn, like, strength for strength kind of guy. And by the end, we view Neferpitou as a quite soft figure, right? We don't see her as that killer anymore. We don't see that instinct within her eyes. She doesn't have the will to kill, rather the will to protect that pushes her to kill. And that's a big difference. And we see that when she apologizes to Gon. She could have killed Gon straight away. She just says, I'm sorry, Gon, but I have to kill you. There's a sense of empathy there. And the same with Yuppie, because by the end, we all grow to like Yuppie, and so much so that we don't really view Yuppie as an adversary. Knuckle can't even fight him anymore, just due to that reason. And Shao-Puf, we grow to either hate him or respect him. But whatever it is, there's a clear change in momentum, right? As the king, as Neferpitou, and as Yuppie grow more and more in the grey area of we're not sure who's good or bad, Shao-Puf grows stronger and stronger in his role as antagonist. And by the end, Shao-Puf is the greatest antagonist in the Chimera Ant arc. And not only is he the antagonist to our main characters, he's actually the antagonist to the king and to the other royal guards. The other royal guards see that they need to prove their loyalty to Puf, and the king is completely an adversary to Puf, because Puf's trying to stop the king from reaching his objective of receiving his memory and remembering Komugi. And it's so beautiful because the way they all die is so poetic, right? They all die covered in blood, face first on the ground. They devoted their lives to it. They died like bugs because they were born to be bugs. But in the end, their deaths are just emblematic of how much more they really were. When you see Puf lying on the ground, you don't think that's a fitting death for them, because us, internally as people, we've started to view them as human. We started to view them as their own characters. We already did for the other Chimera Ants. We started to create that separation we didn't have at the start. But now for them, they were really the main cast, right? They were the opposing main cast. They were the rival team. And it's just very bizarre to have such prominent characters just disappear. For me, I felt that when they were gone, I felt something was missing, right? Because I'd grown so attached to that dichotomy, right? That teamwork. They were very much in tandem with each other, and then that tandem got separated. And it's very much a very similar parallel to what's going on with Gon and Killua, and just how their goals and just their wishes start conflicting. And the Royal Guards, for me, I talked to you about really how and why, but also how we just got there, everything was so well written, right? Everything felt natural. You can't make the argument that Yuppie's transformation felt too abrupt and too abrupt, because Togashi had expanded and really delved into how much Yuppie is this blank canvas. We can't really understand why Poof didn't change, because we know that Poof, when he was born, he was the most sophisticated. He was the one with the IQ. Why would someone who seems to be right or thinks they're right change? And we immediately saw that with Neferpitou, where she innately saw that curiosity. Normally, the royal guards, right, are supposed to protect the queen until the king was born, and she left the nest to kill Kite, and then right after, she wanted to heal him. And that has nothing to do with protecting the king. It shows just how Neferpitou is quite influenceable, right? She's someone that can change, not quite to the way that Yuppie inevitably changed, but she's always had that ability to do so. Togashi made sure to put in small character moments. We saw that Neferpitou was the one that healed Meruem's arm after he had that own will, that own self-expression of irritation. We saw Xiaopu's shock, and we saw that Yuppie was completely oblivious. He didn't really understand, neither did he want to get involved and show his minds. And the most emblematic moment, right, the moment that we can look back and really see who these characters are, is when Meruem wants to know who he is. He says to himself, I'm the king, the perfect king. But what's my name? And he brings up all the royal guards, and he'll give very different answers to that question. We see that Monster Yuppie says, it's not my place to say. I just know that I've got to serve you and that, you're the king. Of course, we saw that it's a level of grace, it's a level of respect, a level of also loyalty, right? Because he doesn't want to meddle with what the king's transformation will be. He wants it to be organic. We see that Neferpitou says, it's whatever you desire, whatever you do, we're going to follow you. We see how in tune she is to his emotions, to his instincts. She's there completely open to his change in a different way from Monster Yuppie. Yuppie doesn't care if he changes or not. Neferpitou almost wants him to. And we see that Xiaopu had this grand idea, you're the perfect king to rule over the species. He's very much opposed to even the fact that Meruem says the question. He almost seems offended by it, and that's why he started off with all due respect, because he knows that his line of thinking is conflicting with Meruem's questioning. And in the end, that is the perfect way to sum up this arc. It's an arc of change, it's an arc of growth, and it's an arc where paths intertwine. It really feels like these characters have been around for a lot longer than they are. And the fact that Togashi did so much in such little time shows just how great he is as a writer and how amazing he is at his storyboarding. Now, this is the end of the video. I hope you've enjoyed. I particularly enjoyed this one because it's one of those video topics that, normally most people wouldn't do a video on this, but because I do Hunter x Hunter every single day, I can sort of, almost do what I want and then do your suggestions. It's this fun space where I can do everything Hunter x Hunter. There's no limit to the Hunter x Hunter content because I do Hunter x Hunter content every day. So I can just do like one topic today, the next, the other. I'm really liking just how dynamic it feels. But yes, I do, as I just said, I do Hunter x Hunter every day. So if you want to be part of the journey, please subscribe. And yeah, please just let me know what you'd want me to do. If you've got any thoughts on the Royal Guards, if you've got a favorite, I'm interested to see what you all think. Like, who do you think's the best Royal Guard? Who do you think's the strongest? Who do you think's the most interesting? Who's your favorites? Those are very intriguing questions since they're all so compelling in completely different ways. It makes it that there is no right or wrong. For me, I think I prefer Yuppie above them all, but I'm very emotionally attached to Xiaopu, and I feel so much sympathy for Pitou, so it's quite the interesting dichotomy. And yes, I wish you all an incredible day. This was Hadrigon. Peace out.